Mets, Red Sox, the Battle of LA. We got best bets, Marlins, Nats, and the Orioles, White Sox. If you're wondering how we're already starting off with a laugh, well, you'll see who's joining me here. Dan Alexander in the driver's seat and a maybe driver wheelless car. As joining me, the morning wager gentlemen, Mark Zinno and Bryan Power. You can check them out every single morning here. Make sure you like and subscribe. These guys, I got up with them bright and early, recorded with them, so I don't know what I did wrong that I get back-to-back Zinno and Power action, but, you know, maybe...
This is a reward in WagerTalk circles. Like, I mean, honestly.
I'm not sure which circles, but it could be.
You could be here with those two guys and going,
Well, they have better hats. They do have better hats, to be fair. But, boys... I will throw down the gauntlet because even those aforementioned gentlemen, 4-0 thus far. So we're 3 shows in. This is our 3rd show of the week. No one has missed a best bet yet this week. So will it be Zinno? Will it be Power? Hop below in the comments. I may have just jinxed these gentlemen, but we got best bets coming your way.
Excuse me. The morning wager has quite the stellar record, including going 3-0 yesterday, even though Bryan Power was lucky as spit.
Hey, better be lucky than be good. Better be lucky than to be good. Dustin Newman saying, I love me some Zinno. I love me some BP, a.k.a. right. Tucker. Chris Tucker in the house. So, Chris Tucker.
Chris Tucker.
You look just like Chris Tucker.
How you get fired?
Baseball
time.
Off,
man.
Baseball time. Restart. Hit the stop button. Restart. All right, let's talk baseball before I give another Chris Tucker.
Let's talk about weddings.
Yeah. Let's talk weddings. Let's talk Dodgers and Angels. Let's talk Battle of LA here with you, Zinno. Thoughts in this one? It's looking like we're going to have Miller and Canning, the absolute can on the mound there for the Angels in this one. How are you looking to bet this one out the gate, Zinno?
Well, look, I mean, there's 2 reasons I took this. One, when I first initially saw the pitching matchup, the first thought in my head was over. And without even looking at the line, I just started doing some research on the pitchers, and I'm like, okay, over feels good. Then I saw the number that opened up at 9, was quickly bet to 9.5, and now sits at 10. And I said, well, I'm not doing that. I'm not betting it over unless it's like that high, unless it's in Coors Field. I just don't like the variance there. However, if you're telling me here that a lot of runs are going to be scored, well, then I feel like I have the better lineup with the Dodgers here. And after a 6-2 win last night, I don't know that the Angels, including Griffin Canning, who's been really bad this year with a 4-12 record, and then you take an Angels bullpen that's also as bad when it comes to bullpen ERA and whip, and you put the Dodgers lineup against it, and I start to feel like, okay, we got something here. Now, Bobby Miller of the Dodgers has been equally as bad. He's struggled a little bit, obviously, just hasn't really been enough. Some of that may have been one start, his numbers being super inflated, where he gave up 9 runs to the Phillies in a 10-run loss. Other than that, he's been pretty, let's just call it average at best. 3 runs, 5 innings, 3 runs, 6 innings, 4 runs, 4 2/3. 2 runs, 5 innings in 4 of his other 5 starts that he made. So if we could just get an average version of Bobby Miller here, I feel comfortable with the Dodgers bats laying the 1.5. And doing it here. And the other reason I took this is because I get to imitate Bryan Power in his stupid voice. You don't take the 1.5. I know at the home team. Well, I'm doing it with the away team here because they are in the other part of Los Angeles, a.k.a. Anaheim. And the Dodgers will get all 9 at bats, so Bryan Power will co-sign me laying the 1.5 here with the Dodgers on the run line tonight against the Angels.
And look at that, BP. He gives a breakdown, and somehow you still get the wild stray shot thrown at you. The Bryan Power like voice, the gift that keeps on giving. Well, apparently you sound like Chris Tucker.
I don't sound like that. I don't sound like that at all. David Peterson's expected ERA is much higher than his regular ERA.
We're going to talk about that in a minute.
If I close my eyes, it's almost like I have two BPs on the show. Folks, if you're joining us live, make sure you hit that like button. Even if you're watching on the rewatch, make sure you keep that going. If you're joining us on social over there on TikTok, X, Instagram, hit that follow button. We would appreciate it. Red Sox and Mets. The Mets looking for that sweep as they're going. It's Houck and McGill is the slated starting pitching matchup in this one. BP, how are we betting this one? You think the sweep comes across here?
Yeah, I do. I don't know why anyone would want to bet the Red Sox right now.
The end of the breakdown. All right, going back to Mark Zinno. No.
Oh, my God. Hey, I'm sure he's got a rant. Let me look. Mark mentioned it at the top, and I got a little lucky with the over yesterday in this game, which I gave on the morning wager. I did get a little over, okay? I did get a little lucky, I should say. I got all the way over, as a matter of fact. David Peterson continues to be regression proof. Okay, he was fantastic on his birthday with 11 strikeouts. Cutter Crawford was even good for the Red Sox, much better than I anticipated. But that Red Sox bullpen, Dan, which I talked about, continues to be absolutely abhorrent. They are the worst bullpen in all of by actual ERA, Zinno, since the All-Spring. They're even worse than the White Sox. That's how bad things are when Boston makes the call to the pen. So they're a team that I think you should be fading the rest of the way. Their playoff hopes are dead. They have now scored 2 runs or less in 4 consecutive games, all losses, as a matter of fact. Meanwhile, the Mets, still alive, very much so in the NL wildcard race, 6 straight wins for them. You go back to May 30th, best record in Major League Baseball, 53-31. So I didn't get why the Red Sox opened as slight favorites here. We've seen some money come in on the Mets. I agree with that. Tanner Houck is a guy who I've liked throughout the year for Boston, but he's way past his career high in innings pitched, so that's a concern. And so what are they going to do? They're going to lift him probably early, and then that horrible bullpen comes into play. McGill, he returned to the big leagues last week. Pretty strong showing. Yes, it was against the White Sox. So, I don't know how impressed we should be with that. But again, Dan, it's all about that awful Red Sox bullpen here and a hot Mets team. I just think the Red Sox are a team you got to be fading right now. Give me the Mets on the money line. They finish off the sweep.
Mets money line for Bryan. I got lucky last night. Power. So hop below in the comments. Let us know. Let's
I usually have to beg.
Let's keep those. Yeah. Hey. However you can get it. That's for sure. But keep those comments coming here. And let us know what games you're looking to bet. We mentioned that potential sweep as BP's looking at that one. Tyler throwing down the gauntlet. He's saying, you know who's going to get the sweep? Oakland. Well, 2 walk-off victories at least put them 2 games up in the 4-game set against the Mariners. So, Zinno, are the Athletics just saying, like, hey, if we're getting kicked out of our city and we don't have anywhere to go, we're at least going to kick as many people out of the playoffs as possible en route to the end of the year? Because the the Mariners are just slumping at the worst time of the year, and the A's are just pushing them along there with heartbreak losses. So any thoughts here in game 3 as Tyler thinks maybe they'll push towards the 4-game sweep? This one going at 9:40 tonight.
I think there's only, 2 ways you bet this. You either take the A's money line or you take the Mariners on the what do you call it? On the run line. It's hard to believe that back on July 11th, the Seattle Mariners were 19 games above 500 at 52-43. That was the beginning of All-Star Weekend. I mean, they were 52-43. They are now a game below 500 at 69-7. That's how bad they've been in giving away this AL West division here. So we know the numbers for George Kirby on the road versus at home. Like every Seattle pitcher, the splits are just wildly different. His ERA is over a run higher away from what's it called? AT&T now, T-Mobile, whatever phone runs that. Yeah, whatever it is. Not Safeco. I'll call it Safeco forever. So, you're looking at a batting average of around 258, 17 home runs allowed on the road versus 3 at home for Kirby. But you just have to, if you believe Seattle's going to wake up and not get swept here, that they tend to bust out their bats in big spots and in big manners and end up scoring 7 or 8 runs. And they got the pitcher on the mound to hold it here. So the only 2 ways I'd approach this were Oakland money line or Seattle on the run line.
Any thoughts for you on that one, Bry? Because it's kind of hard to disagree with Zinno there. If you don't have any thoughts on that one, let's talk this early game, Phillies and Blue Jays. But because I know this was a game that you guys did touch upon on the morning wager, so feel free to cap that other game there and let us know what we're doing in the early game on the board. 3:07, weird start time for this one.
Yeah. Well, I mean, just based on the Mariners. Not just recent, but long-term form. I just don't feel comfortable backing them. And then Kirby, I mean, he's just been, it was 2 starts ago on the road. He gave up 11 runs to the Tigers. So, I mean, not a guy I want to endorse. Zinno mentioned the home road splits of every Seattle starter. That's very true. So, no interest on the Mariners side. I have a lot of interest, though, in that Toronto-Philly game that goes early, Dan. Your Phillies are running into a red-hot pitcher. Bowden Francis. Has just been absolutely ridiculous over his last 4 starts. There have been 3 times in those last 4 starts he's gone 7 innings and allowed just 1 hit. He has given up just 6 hits total those last 4 starts and 2 earned runs. He's got a .43 ERA and a .36 whip over those last 4. So not a guy I'm looking to get in front of right now. The Toronto bats are a concern when going against lefties. Sanchez is a lefty. I know Sanchez, Dan, you certainly know, not as good on the road as he is at home. Yep. But, these teams, both lineups exploded last night. It was, 19 runs and 34 hits, I think. I think we're going to not see nearly as much offense tonight. Francis will handle his business. And I think the Blue Jays, their offense, I just don't trust that enough. So under would be my look. If you're afraid of that Toronto bullpen, I would take a look at maybe just going under in the first 5. Because as they showed again last night, it is always an adventure in the relief department for the Blue Jays.
DA, I'll add here.
Go ahead.
I'll add just on Christopher Sanchez, the numbers a little bit more deeper on why we look at Toronto. The 2.24 ERA at home, a 5.43 ERA on the road, 2.2 runs higher. Not only that, the batting average jumps up over 100 points on the road by opposing hitters. 2.23 at home, 3.24 on the road. And get this, you really want one more kicker? Christopher Sanchez must be a late sleeper because his ERA in day games is 6.54, and that's not good. So opposing hitters are batting over 300 against him. For whatever reason, he's just not good during the day. And it's weird. I know some people – I put a lot of stock in that thing. The day-night thing I think is real, especially for pitchers who are creatures of habit. They go through the same routine every single day off repeatedly. And when that routine gets thrown off because they have to make a day start – versus a night start. Some guys are really good in those spots. Some guys are really bad. If they're bad for a reason, and I typically like to fade that. So I would again co-sign. I obviously do co-sign Toronto on the run line here in the first 5.
Yeah, and I think the only way you bet this game is in the first 5 because both of these bullpens, it's just question marks like crazy. So if you think you have the edge, I mean, think about how it ended last night. You know what I mean? You thought you were getting home with the Blue Jays winning ticket if you had them full game. Then the 9th inning happened. So, yeah, I'm with you. If it's first 5, I mean, if you're playing this game, it's first 5. Tyler looking at the under 4.5 in the first 5. Keep those comments coming and let us know what you're looking to bet today. Shout out to the chat boss, 429 Juice in the house, Chris Brady, Rochester, Johnny, appreciating the best bet winners that we've been having all week. You like the best bets for free? Hit that like button, subscribe. That little bell will keep you notified because we're going to be cashing tickets here through the end of the regular season in MLB. So make sure you're joining us here on a daily basis. And it's Wednesday, folks. You know what that means. You definitely want to get notified when Bet On It goes live. College Football Edition Week 2 coming your way this evening. And then the long-awaited NFL Week 1 edition. That's right. Football is back. We are one sleep away from the start of the NFL season. More reasons than ever to hit that subscribe button. And if you're on social, make sure you follow us as well. Gentlemen, we do have best bets coming up here in just a few. We're going to talk Miami and Washington and Boston taking on the Chicago White Sox, Baltimore taking on the Chicago White Sox. So let's hit a few more games before that point. Let's talk Twins and Rays here because that Rays best bet got a little sweaty, but we did get it home yesterday. I'm triggered to keep the 4-0 run alive here on the best bets for first pitch this week. It's going to be Henriquez and Sulcer. in this one. So maybe a bit of a bullpen that you're going to be seeing here out of the Rays. Any thoughts for you on this one, BP?
No, it was funny the way your voice went when you were reading the starting pitchers.
Incredulous.
That was my reaction.
I was like, that can't actually be right?
No, that was my reaction. And here's kind of a strategy I have. When I look at a game and don't know either starting pitcher, I tend to pass on the matchup. I don't know. I mean, I did some research and I said, no, thank you. There was other games I liked. This was the easiest pass on the board for me, unfortunately. I apologize if this is one that people wanted to know about. Maybe an under, I don't know. Tampa Bay's lineup can be pretty weak. It was a low-scoring game last night. There's going to be some unfamiliarity, I guess, with the hitter. So maybe an under on the 8. But, yeah, this was a pretty easy stay away from me with the question marks on the mound.
Yeah, I'm with you. I mean, it just the game stood out to me simply because I was like, who are these names that I'm looking at right here? So yeah, with very little to draw upon with your starting pitching matchup here, it's a little tougher. If you have any thoughts on this one, let us know. You taking a shot with the unknown, the Twins and Rays game? Any thoughts for you in that one, Zinno? If not, I know a game that you guys touched upon on the morning wager was that Marlins game, and we got Tyler asking, can anyone get me on the money Marlins? He wants to bet him. He just needs us to send him there. So Washington Nationals getting the win done yesterday, and they're taking on the Marlins again today. He's basically asking, is Beloso a bozo? And I guess that's what it comes down to for the handicap for him. What do you think, Zinno?
Yeah, by the way, Twins Rays, I'd probably just play the over, to be honest with you. With that question, if you're going to run through bullpen, you got 8. You got 8 sitting out there.
Why not?
If you don't trust the pitchers and you wonder of course you do, because you're a jerk. You're the bozo here.
I like the under.
Yeah, I joined in, BP.
I like the under. I like the under. I think the Cincinnati Bengals are one of the teams that compete for the whole thing. Yeah. Anyway.
All right, go back to your expected ERA.
It's a baseball show.
Marlins, I don't care. I'll take any shot at you I want, okay? Nationals, Marlins. Gee, can we talk about how the Marlins left half of Cuba on base last night? Can we just talk about that for a second? Because I had the over, and when the Nationals scored 4 runs in the first 2 innings, I'm like, yes, Marlins are coming back. Marlins are the right side here. Think the Marlins are going to get it done. And again, they left more guys on base than they did in the freaking Atlantic on a boat over, okay? So I'm not happy. I think the Marlins are going to come back tonight with the bats and do a little bit of damage here. Now, you're asking the question, is Beloso a bozo? Well, Beloso went 4 starts. He was pretty impressive, actually, from the end of July into August. The last 2 starts, guys, he got lit up. 6 runs in each of them, didn't even get through 5 innings. Why did he get lit up? Well, he gave up not 1, not 2, but 3 home runs in each of those games. So he's given up 6 home runs in his last 8 2/3 pitch. Does anybody want to take a guess here on this panel, on this show, who has hit the fewest home runs in Major League Baseball on the road this year? Let's see. Let's go with Bryan Power. Bryan Power. Yes, Washington. Yes. The Nationals have hit the fewest home runs of any team on the road this year. So if Valente can keep the Nats in the ballpark, which is how the Nats scored their runs last night, ironically enough, was via the long ball. 3-run shot really was the difference. I think we can get behind the Marlins today. I think it's a viable spot for them. And Bryan Power, of course, would only bet the Marlins because the Nationals have won all 8 games in the series, and that is a perfect spot for Bryan Power to be a complete a-hole and bet the other way.
Yeah, well, that's what BP does. That's look at that face. A face not even his mother could love. That's the Bryan Power way.
You're a bad-looking guy.
I'm sorry. I feel like because I had to get up so early with you guys, that's why I'm just throwing strays at BP.
Listen,
I'm just throwing
it's
strays.
A face that you got to beg with, and he understands it.
It's very fair. Know thyself. Know thyself.
Smell your own.
For sure. Boys, let's get into some best bets here for the folks. As I have mentioned, they have been running hot. I like the plays that you guys are eyeing in this one today. So we kind of touched upon this one, BP, with Zinno. So why not drive it home of why you think you can get some plus money with the Marlins and let folks know why they should be partnering with you. An incredible deal we have over at WagerTalk.com. WT.buzz is where you can find BP. But we just just touched upon it, Miami Marlins. Why do you think that's the side for the best bet?
Well, it's a face that you got to beg with, and he understands it.
It's very fair. Know thyself. Know thyself. It's very fair. 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 Know thyself.
Yeah, I've got 2 plays for Wednesday, Dan, and I'm going to give you one of them for free right now. My favorite side on the board is the Miami Marlins at home. As Mark mentioned, they are 0-8 against the Nationals head-to-head this season, and that's basically the reason why there's an 11-game gap between these two clubs at the bottom of the NL East. I was on Miami yesterday. I thought for a lot of the reasons Zinno laid out that they were the right side yesterday, but Patrick Corbin, I don't know. He's got that he needs to get another contract to stay in the big leagues, and he's pitching like a man that wants to continue to get paid. I don't understand, though, the big change in price. Miami obviously closed as a favorite on the money line yesterday. Now is Mackenzie Gore necessarily that much better than Patrick Corbin? I don't think so. You look at his numbers overall, okay, he is allowing a career worst mark of 10.3 hits per 9 innings. He's got a 4.45 ERA, a 1.55 whip. Miami, they did leave a lot of guys on base last night. They were 1 for 7 with runners in scoring position. And what was real head scratching is you go back to August 1st, Dan. Miami top 6 at home in both OPS and WRC plus against lefties. Corbin was a lefty. They failed to get it done. I think they get it done against Gore. Belozo, yes, he struggled the last 2 times out, but his first 4 starts, he'd been pretty good, like Mark said. The team is 4-1 the last 5 times he's taken the mound. Even with those struggles, the last 2 times out was a 2.45 ERA his first 6 starts, pardon me. I give Miami the bullpen edge as well. You add it up, nice plus price. Miami gets their first win against Washington. Again, head on over to my page. Right now, you'll get not only my top side, but my top total is available in that 2-for-1 package. I'm on a 6-1 all sports run with totals. Football right around the corner, so it is a great time to partner up, get that 3-day all access for $49. We're on a 22-10 college football run going back to last season. And the first Sunday of the NFL season last year, Dan, it was a 3-0 sweep by yours truly. We ended things well. 2-0 sweep in the Super Bowl. Was that really 7 months ago, the Super Bowl? I guess it was. We're looking forward to a great start to the season. So there you go.
All I know is I'm jacked up. Go ahead.
BP loves to give out his record like that guy Mark Lawrence gives out trends from like 7 years ago. Hey, back in November of 2022, I was 3-0 in the NFL. Bet me now.
Says BP says the man who is celebrating a Washington State bet that he had like 12 years
on his
ago.
marriage.
So
yes.
on his night of his marriage.
There were 2 bets made the night of my wedding. Okay, one that we would stay together, lost. The other one on the Washington Huskies to beat the Washington State Cougars, freaking winner.
1 out of 2 ain't bad. 1 out of 2 ain't bad. The Glizzy Goblin for sure.
Yes. By the way,
yeah.
By the way, the Kansas City Royals have not won a game since I ate that cheeseburger at Progressive Field last Wednesday. Yeah, Rally Burger.
Rough.
Without a
Rally Burger, you can't. Just
it doesn't work.
Throwing
it doesn't
food
work.
items there.
Doesn't work. Well done. Well, very relevant stuff that everyone knows what you're talking about, BP. Well done. I'm sorry. I don't know why I'm throwing so many shots at you, Brian. I'm sorry. All right, best bet. We're looking at the plus 120 on the Marlins for our man Brian Power. Let's talk O's and White Sox for you, Zinno. If you were back in the Orioles yesterday, any pro O's ticket, you could cash it at any price. Rocking chair winners across the board, 9-0 win. Do we just go back to that well, find a way to get on the O's where it's not laying an insane price? How are you looking to bet this one for your best bet? And what do you have up as we head into the best football weekend?
This was a client play for me yesterday.
Ooh, double client play.
Over 5.5. So we cashed on that. And by the way, I have 2 baseball plays up tonight. I actually have my Thursday Night Football NFL season opener as part of today's package. So if you want that, go to WT.buzz/MZ, grab it right now, along with a 4% best bet in Major League Baseball tonight. You're getting them both. Don't forget about that 3-day package. You can get, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, all the way through, or you can do it through the weekend, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. But WT.buzz/MZ, we're top 3 in Major League Baseball through the month of August in winning percentage, ROI, and units. So we had a really good August. We'll keep it rolling into September. Again, a 4% MLB best bet winner, another MLB play, and my Thursday Night Football selection is already up on the site right now, WT.buzz/MZ. All right, go back to the Baltimore Orioles here against the White Sox. This was a client play for me last night, the Orioles team total. It's the only way really I could slice it with a number that I'm comfortable with when it comes to the juice. I don't want to lay minus 160 in the run line, as you see, certainly not laying $3.50. But the Orioles team total at 5.5 is plus money. It was even money last night. It's plus money now at plus 110. You're going up against a starter here in Jonathan Cannon, who should be shut out of a cannon for the way he's pitched because it's not good. 2-9 with a 4.7 ERA and a 1.41 WHIP on the year. His ERA on the road higher than it is at home at 5.4. Opposing hitters batting .315 against him on the road this year. And the Orioles are one of the highest scoring teams at home this year. They scored 13 runs in the opener. They scored 9 runs last night. If they only score 6 tonight, it would be considered a downgrade. Don't forget, by the way, the White Sox have the second highest bullpen ERA and the second highest bullpen WHIP in all of baseball on the year. I know the Orioles are only going to get 8 at-bats, BP. Calm your panties, okay? They shouldn't need the 9th at-bat to get to 6 runs.
Don't remember saying anything.
Okay? I know you didn't say anything, but you were thinking it. So, and the audience knows you were thinking it, and I felt compelled to tell them that you're a dumbass. So, that said, you know I love you, BP. But Orioles over 5.5. Not going to overthink it. Some people may go, well, they scored 22 runs in the last 2 games. They can't keep it up. Yeah, they can, because it's the White Sox. They've quit. They're a bad team. And whoever they're going to bring in after Jonathan Cannon, who, oh, by the way, has given up at least 4 runs in each of his last 3 starts, that gets us 3/4 of the way there. Yeah, over 5.5 Orioles. Don't overthink it. Hit it at plus money.
Don't overthink it. KISS, keeping it simple, stupid, not calling you stupid, just saying, let's keep it simple here with the O's over the 5.5 and at plus money. Hey, that's for you to decide. That's for you to decide. But the best bets for the guys, in case you're just joining us, the Orioles over the 5.5 against the lowly Chicago White Sox, and BP looking at some plus money as well. The Marlins money line. He says it's a mispriced special there, plus 120 against the Nats. That's the 2 best bets. Hop below in the comments and let us know what your best bets are today. One more on the way out, though. Our man Tyler, loyal listener, we appreciate you being a part of the Wager Talk family. If you're just scrolling upon us or across us for the first time, make sure you hit that subscribe button. We'll keep you getting those winners around the clock with all the single game videos, all these live shows, taking your questions as well. We appreciate chopping it up with you. But Tyler's wondering about this Cleveland game. He's saying he knows that BP loves him some Don't Call Me Blake Lively up there on the mound. Of course, Benjamin on the mound against Lugo. Any thoughts as we head on out, BP, about the Guardians and the Royals?
Yeah, wow. I mean, about a week ago, it was, as a matter of fact, exactly a week ago, at the time everyone was thinking Kansas City was going to come back and take this division. Look what's happened. They've just completely fallen apart, swept by Houston over the weekend, and they've dropped the first 2 games at home here against Cleveland. I would be surprised if Cleveland finished off the sweep here, Dan. I mean, Cleveland and Kansas City are very similar in the sense that both are much better at home than they are on the road. I would maybe look at a first 5 over in this game. Lively could be hit or miss. Seth Lugo, Zinno could do all his funny voices he wants. Seth Lugo's a guy we've been fading left and right. He was due for regression, and regression has bitten him. The Cleveland bullpen, usually when they get in, they lock things down. So I would look at a first 5 over here, although the Kansas City bullpen is quite bad. So I don't know. I think if we're getting runs in this game, they're more likely to come early against these 2 starters. So just a small lean, first 5 over at 4.5.
I mean, the only thing I'll say
Bryan
here, in
Power,
addition to that,
finish it off, Zinno.
It's just that Lively gets over just start. He's gotten great. All VP knows that I'm a big proponent of for whatever reason, some guys get more run support than others. It's just, I don't know what happens every 5 days, but Lively gets over 5 runs of support. No, by the way, in case you're wondering, Lugo gets 4.4. But the Royals are 15-13 through his 28 starts. So it's really hard compared to 15-9 for the Guardians with Lively on the mound this year. I love BP's look here about the over in the first 5. There's probably a lot of variance. I think we probably do get a lot of runs in this one more than anything. Even though the pitchers are what they are, I would look to an over as well.
Looking towards the over. That's the Morning Wager crew. You can check them out right now at WagerTalk.com. They broke down some NFL Week 1 action. Also gave you 3 MLB plays. And these 2 gentlemen giving you 2 plus money best bets, looking at the Marlins plus 120 and the O's team total over. If you want to do a little sloppy parlay action, you're looking at, like a plus 362 payout, something like that. So Patty Johnson, definitely interested. And best of luck There you go. That's right. We can't lose with Zinno. It's a good day.
Always a good day.
Late.
I got your back.
Best of luck to these two gentlemen. Check them out at WagerTalk.com. Make sure you hang out because 30 minutes from now, Wager Talk Today is coming your way. Ralph Michael is going to have some actionable info, charts for you, some UFC best bets coming your way from Kyle Anthony. And you know we're going to have football talk around the clock. Yeah, it never ends.
Alexander, have you ever seen two guys give out plus money bets on first pitch? Have you ever seen that?
Have you ever?
I've never seen that before. I don't give out plus money bets.
It's you never know. You never know. I didn't know that we were going to get a nice prez sighting here. You got smacked in the face.
Why did I get hit?
I
was just sitting here.
Before anyone gets injured, we got to shut this thing down. We're going to knock your eye out. Zinno and BP, check them out over at wt.buzz/MZ is where you can find Zinno. wt.buzz/BP is where you can find Bryan Power. That 3-day all-access special, you can grab these guys' packages that you have up now, sure, but you grab that $49. Watch out. Watch out. You can grab that 3-day all access for under $50. Check it out at wt.buzz/deals. Big thanks to these guys. Big thanks to the chat. We appreciate you tuning in, and we'll be back locked and loaded. But don't go anywhere, folks. Wager Talk Today, 30 minutes from now. Bet on it later today on the channel as well. We'll see you until then. BP, watch out. That bat's coming for you. Till then, best of luck, everyone.